The Welsh Highland Railway has a long and complicated history, and part of that concerns this engine. Before the WHR existed, parts of the route did exist as the North Wales Narrow Gauge Railway and the Porthmadog Bethgelert and South Snowdon Railway. Russell was ordered by the PBSSR from Hunslet Works in 1906, but she was completed for a railway which was never built, so she was sent to work on the NWNGR instead. In 1923, this railway was extended to Porthmadog to become the Welsh Highland Railway. But it seems the engine didn't like moving home very much. In an attempt to allow her to run on the adjacent Festiniog line, Russell's cab, dome and chimney were cut down to size, but she was still too big to fit through the Festiniog's tunnels. She was laid up following the Welsh Highlands closure in 1937, before being requisitioned for use at an Oxfordshire ironstone site during the war. After this, she found her way down to the Norden clay mine system in Dorset, but the badly laid track didn't agree with her, and in 1953, Russell was withdrawn from service following terminal damage to one of the axles. Thankfully, the Birmingham Locomotive Society was able to purchase the engine for the modern equivalent of just under £2,000, and more thankfully, Hunslet agreed to repair the damaged axle for nothing. She moved around various homes for a few years before settling down at Gellert's Farm, the home of the Welsh Highland 1964 company in Porthmadog. But it wasn't until 1987 that the locomotive steamed again, after a gap of 34 years. For most of her preserved career, the locomotive was imprisoned on the 3/4 mile stretch of track at Gellert's Farm, due to the complicated relationship with the Welsh Highland Heritage Railway and the Festiniog-run Welsh Highland Carnarvon Railway. But in November 2018, Russell ran a test run along the original Welsh Highland Railway for the first time in over 80 years, before running public service trains the following June. This was something special. For some people, Russell spent most of her life away from her spiritual home. But her return to Bethgelert proves that Henry Ford was wrong. History isn't bunk, it's constant.